Welcome to B.News Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with B.News Director Rich Hosford, B.News reporters James Flaherty, Robert Paris, and Chris Flaherty. Also Peter Brown with the weather, Ian Cassiola with the community calendar, and Willa Roma with senior news. Also making his directorial debut today is John B.E.S.T. Thank you for joining us. Burlington homeowners and businesses are now limited to 1 day to water their lawns through irrigation systems. Monday night, the Board of Selectmen voted to approve a 1 day only watering restriction. The vote came after the state declared a drought watch for the area. Department of Public Works Director John Sanchez added that monitoring of the reservoir showed the water level to be 1 foot away from not being able to meet the town's capacity. The way the restriction will work is that homeowners or business can water on the day of the week that corresponds with their voting district. You can see here which precincts can water on which day. Watering is allowed from midnight 11:59 p.m. on your day, with the exception that there is to be no watering from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The ban will be enforced with fines up to $100 per day. Activities that are allowed at all times include irrigation to establish a new lawn and new plantings, irrigation of public parks and recreational fields, irrigation of lawns, gardens, flowers, and plantings by means of a handheld hose, watering by businesses who need it to meet core business functions, and private wells. The Board of Selectmen also voted to give Town Administrator John Petrin authority to connect to a neighboring community for water if the need arises. However, if the situation gets that dire, the town must first declare a full watering ban, which Petrin can also now do on the authority of the board. Mr. Petrin said Burlington is not alone in putting water restrictions on residents. He said about 100 communities in eastern Massachusetts now have watering bans. The Board of Selectmen approved the use of funds to once again crack down on handicap parking violations in town. Disability Access Commission co-chair Kenny Tigas was at the meeting with Burlington Veterans Affairs Director and Americans with Disabilities Act Coordinator Chris Hannafin and Traffic Officer William Trelligan to request permission to use funds from the parking fine funds for the 2 different projects. The money for the fund is provided by tickets and fines given to people who illegally park in handicapped spots. The first was $5,000 to pay for an extra police detail to undertake another round of crackdowns on people who illegally park in handicapped spots or misuse handicap parking placards. Trelligan said the last crackdown that took place during the 2015 holiday season netted 88 tickets and 20 citations of misuse of placards. A total of 18 placards were seized, and there were 4 people who were found to have altered documents to illegally park in handicapped spots. The purpose of the Operation Access is twofold, police say. The first is to dissuade motorists who do not need to use handicap parking from doing so illegally. The second is to generate funds for the Commission to pay for future operations and fund other projects. And as each ticket brings in $200 and each citation for placard misuse garners $500 a fine, the fund has filled up. The second expenditure was $3,192 to pay the difference in price between standard and handicap accessible portable toilets at town events and at parks and playgrounds. Hannafin said the Recreation Department pays up front for the facilities and is asking the Commission to cover the difference in the price, which is $76 per unit. The board voted 5-0 to approve both expenditures. Last Sunday, St. Malachy Parish held a special mass in honor of police officers in the wake of the shooting in Dallas that left 5 officers dead and 8 others injured. The mass was taped and will air on BCAT. Here are some clips of that service.
Today we celebrate Mass for Maureen Ridge, but also in a special way we're celebrating Mass in honor of those 5 policemen in Dallas who were ruthlessly assassinated. But also, we're going to pray for our police officers, those that we call when we're afraid and expect them not to have any fear. My sisters and brothers, today is a day of support, prayer, and affirmation. My sisters and brothers, with me, would you please extend your hands as we pray over our police officers. Blessed are you, Lord God of mercy, who through your Son, you have given us marvelous examples of charity in the great commandment to love one another. We beg you, send down your blessings upon these, your servants, who so generously devote themselves to helping and protecting others. When they are called upon in the time of need, let them faithfully serve you as they serve their neighbor. May they be protected in your love, and may they always be graced with the opportunity to go home to their families, to share love and the gift of your goodness. We ask all of this through Christ, our Lord.
Amen. And on behalf of the Burlington Police Department, I can tell you this is a tremendous honor. To be appreciated and receive an affirmation here today for all the positive things we do as a law enforcement community. But what we can't forget to mention today is the appreciation and affirmation that goes out to the officers who recently lost their lives in Dallas, as well as all the fallen officers from around the country who acted so heroically in the performance of their duties. As I recall my many years in law enforcement, I can't help but mention how all too often we hear the negative comments about things we do or what we have done as police officers. I can tell you that for me, for my fellow officers out here, my fellow Burlington officers, and I think I can speak for officers in other communities. We have an officer here, thank you for coming out. Since we train and we work hand in hand with other officers from other communities, that we have never experienced as much citizen support for us as police officers as there has been over the past 10 days. It has certainly been uplifting to all of us for sure.
Burlington's restaurant sector keeps on growing, with new places opening up on a regular basis. There is a growing need for people to staff them. State Rep Ken Gordon has a plan to bring workers in from outside of town. BNews Director Rich Hosford spoke with him about it and has this report.
It's no secret that Burlington's restaurant industry is booming. New places have been opening up around town on what seems like a weekly basis. However, all that growth means there's a need for workers to cook, clean, and join the waitstaff, and some businesses are struggling to find employees. State Representative Ken Gordon recently announced he has secured $142,000 for the Middlesex 3 Coalition to administer a shuttle to transport employees from Lowell to retail and restaurant jobs in Bedford and Burlington as part of the House's Economic Development Bill. He explains.
The issue is that we have a large number of job openings in Burlington and in Bedford, but especially in Burlington's restaurant industry. There are jobs that the restaurants just can't fill because they can't find the workers to do that. We have very low unemployment in Burlington. So they're looking to other communities. So then the challenge is, how do we get workers here without one person, one car, which creates traffic?
Gordon said the plan is to select a location in Lowell, possibly an MBTA station, to pick up the workers, and then a couple of locations in Burlington, most likely one near the district in the Burlington Mall and another at 3rd Ave, to drop them off. It's clear how this will benefit people in Lowell looking for work, but what I wanted to know is how it will help Burlington and its residents.
Well, one is that we have restaurants that need to fill jobs, and we have workers here who come in, they want lunch, they come in for dinner, and the service, is sometimes is slower than it could be because we don't have enough staff to fill all those needs. This will help fill the needs of the restaurants.
Gordon said another benefit of the program deals with an issue always on the minds of Burlington residents: traffic.
What it does is it'll bring the number of cars down off the road because, again, we have multi-rider vehicles, and that's a better way of addressing our traffic needs than bringing in job opportunities that require someone to have their own car.
Gordon said eventually the shuttle service will run independently of tax money, but that the state funding is necessary to get it off the ground.
So we've got to get these shuttles sort of up and running. It's what government can do to help business that business wouldn't otherwise be doing, is a network program that would help all of the businesses in one sector, in this case the restaurant sector, to get it up and running. Eventually the restaurants will take over and they'll pay for the program themselves.
At 3rd Ave, I'm BNews Director Rich Hosford.
Burlington has begun the process of becoming a Purple Heart town. Veteran Service Director Chris Hannafin was at the Board of Selectmen meeting on Monday to propose that the town pursue the designation from the Military Order of the Purple Heart. Hannafin explained that hundreds of communities across the country have become Purple Heart towns and cities. He said that doing so signifies a dedication by the community to support individuals with combat wounds, particularly those who have received a Purple Heart. Burlington becoming a Purple Heart town is just establishing that it supports those who have been wounded in action, defending freedoms the country holds dear. Members of the Board of Selectmen supported the idea unanimously. Hannafin said that now that he has the blessing of the board, he will approach the Military Order of the Purple Heart. If that organization agrees, the town will have a ceremony honoring wounded veterans sometimes later this year. The drama students enrolled in the Burlington Educational Summer Theater are hard at work preparing for this year's production. They will be performing Shrek Jr., a musical that tells the story of everyone's favorite ogre. B.E.W.S reporter Robert Paris went to a rehearsal and has this preview of the play.
Okay, freeze.
Do you know any of these local actors or actresses? They all have something in common. They are performing in a production of Shrek Jr. I went down to the Fogelberg Auditorium to check it out. Jade, Mikey, Lewis, and Jensine are the main cast of characters in the production. I found out who and what they will be performing as.
I play Shrek.
Donkey.
The dragon, Fiona.
The cast did not only have a fun time, but when asked about what their favorite part of the program was, here's what they had to say.
Definitely, I loved it. You know, I've been doing this since 2012, and this is a place where I learned all the fundamentals of acting, and this is really where I got my theater start, so I love this place.
Honestly, I think it's been one of the most fun things I've done in the theater industry.
It's my first year here, so it's been really fun so far, and I really enjoy it. It's really fun. Like, it's not a serious, theater. It's just more summer fun and play.
John Middleton Cox and Warren Friedman, who made the play come about, gave a background on what the purpose of the Burlington Educational Summer Theater, or BEST program, is.
The purpose of the BEST program is to educate children in musical theater, acting, singing, and dancing.
Yeah, we started the program 7 years ago, and it's expanded. Now we have over 100 kids involved. We have a workshop program, and then we do a show as well. This year's show is Shrek Jr., so we're really excited about that. It's a 3-week program. And before we started, the beautiful Fogelberg Performing Arts Center was simply not used all summer long, so we're really happy to be able to utilize this great facility in our town.
Middleton Cox is very thankful to be part of the production.
We're delighted to be able to bring in professional staff. Warren Friedman, of course, is a professional director from New York and tours around the country working. And our music director, Steve Black, is a professional in the business. And Leanne Reardon, of course, our choreographer. And so the kids have an opportunity to work with professionals in the field to learn from the best. And in addition, they have the wonderful chance to shine for their parents and the community as well.
So, what is the play about?
An ogre named Shrek who lives in a swamp with all the other fairy tale creatures. And because he's not the norm, a lot of people are scared of him, make fun of him. But he really is a sweet, lovable character. And we, throughout the story, we do see that he meets a princess who he's supposed to bring to Lord Farquaad, who sort of controls and runs the kingdom. And they end up falling in love because she turns into an ogre as well. So it really is a little bit, it's a family story. There's a lot of laughter, a lot of touching moments, and it's just about, friendship.
A lot of people may be familiar with the cartoon movie. This is based on the Broadway musical, so they added a lot of really neat songs, and they developed some of the characters to make it even richer. So if you're familiar with the movie, you'll absolutely love the musical.
The play starts Friday, July 22nd and runs through Saturday, July 23rd. Tickets run from $10 to $15.
Not you three. Your arms come down in the first one and you just sing the second one standing.
down here at the Fogelberg Auditorium, I'm Robert Paris for B.News Weekly.
40 years ago, Mike Panico was mucking through a swamp between Route 3A and Fieldstone Drive on a quest to find turtles. What he found instead was a carving that is still a mystery today. During his search, which was after a drought in the area, he saw what looked like a head attached to a dead tree. He cut it down and it has been in the family ever since. Panico, who now lives in Florida, got curious about the carving, which looks like a totem, and says he took it to an archaeologist to examine it. The archaeologist said that at first blush he believed it was quite old and definitely Native American. Panico is not sure if the archaeologist was right or not and is just trying to be knowledgeable, as he has only spent a few minutes examining it and it was not his area of expertise. The head weighs about 4.5 pounds and stands about 10 inches tall. He's decided to send it to the Burlington Historical Society, where it is today. Society President Mary Nolte said that members are looking into the mystery, including by sending all the information they have to the Historical American Antiquities in Maryland, but they also want to ask the public's assistance. Nolte asked that anyone with information or insight send comments to Nolte, mkn@verizon.net. Work is underway on Burlington's dog park. B.News reporter Chris Flaherty went down to get the latest. Here's his report.
K9s of Burlington rejoice. The Burlington Dog Park is even closer to becoming a reality. A location has been selected for the project between the baseball field and the soccer field of Rahanis Park.
At this point, we were just awarded a design grant from the Stanton Foundation in the amount of $16,800. And what that does is it allows us to go out and get a final design for the project. We have a design, we worked with a landscape architect, but now we'll go out for a final design, make sure everything's right on it. We've had a core group of residents who have worked from that first meeting in February of 2014 all the way to today. They have actually gone out and formed a Friends of Burlington Dog Park committee, so they're a nonprofit group that will raise money to go towards the upkeep and maintenance of the dog park, and also to help offset any costs for design services.
Should all go according to plan, construction will begin on the dog park in the fall of 2017. Those wishing to lend a paw can contact the Burlington Recreation Department to make a donation. There will also be a fundraiser at the Newtown Grill on August 8th and a Day of the Dogs this coming October at Rahanis.
Lots of events going on, and we encourage people to bring down their dogs and participate.
Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for B.News Weekly.
An artist who followed his dream and is now working for Marvel Comics, drawing Spider-Man among other heroes, was at the Burlington Used Book Superstore last week. B.News reporter James Hurley went to speak with him about his work and has this report.
Last Thursday, comic book artist Joe St. Pierre visited the used bookstore here in Burlington. I went down to ask a few questions, the first being how he got into the business.
I've been drawing comics since I can remember, since I was 5 or 6 years old. I still have the comics I used to draw when I was in first grade and stuff like that. But professionally, it's been about a little over 20 years now. And I got in just by old school. Back in the old days, we used to just send in samples of our work to all the companies that we wanted to work for. And hopefully one day an editor would look at your samples and call you up. And that's pretty much what happened to me. My first gig was at a company called Valiant. And then I eventually moved on to draw Spider-Man for Marvel Comics and Batman, Superman characters for DC. And now I'm publishing my own stuff.
When asked who his favorite comic book character to draw was, Joe explained his childhood dream.
Spider-Man's, he's near and dear to my heart. Since I was a child, I've been reading Spider-Man comics. So it was actually a goal in life. It was like a mission, like one of my holy missions in life, to draw Spider-Man for a living.
I asked him about his new self-publishing career and his new graphic novel.
The new self-publishing is a book called New Zodiacs. It's about 12 characters who can channel the cosmic energies of the Zodiac. So the first volume introduces the first 4 members, because there are 12 signs of the Zodiac, right? So the first volume introduces the first 4 characters. We've got a ghost hunter. We've got an ancient demigod, near immortal. We've got a hacker who's hunted by the largest global corporation in the world. And we've got a giant lava monster. So that's how we're going to roll out the first 4.
If you're interested in checking out his work, here's where you can find him.
Is it available in stores?
Yeah, it should be in your better comic book stores, and if they don't have it, you can go to newzodiacs.com, and you can order the book through me that way.
Can people find you at Boston Comic Con this year?
Oh, yeah. Yep, we'll be there.
It's been a hot and mostly dry week. Let's go now to B.News weatherman Peter Brown in our Weather Center for the latest forecast of what's to come. We'll also check out the community calendar with Ian Cassiola to see what's happening in Burlington.
This is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the upcoming period. As we start our period off this coming Thursday, look at this. We're going to see temperatures again in the upper 80s. So, of course, you remember how warm it was last weekend? Well, it looks like we're going to be heading in that direction again. Well above the average, that's for sure. And actually, by the time we get to Sunday, some indications we could actually be close to this record high down here near 98. Maybe not quite that warm, but it's going to be toasty, that's for sure. And as you can notice right here by the length of day, you can definitely notice the day is starting to get a little bit shorter right now. So that's something that's definitely happening, and that's a sign of the times coming up through the middle of July. But as we move ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather for the upcoming week. And I've got to say, if you could ever say what you see is what you get, that's really what's going to be happening. From this Thursday all the way through the middle of next week, we're pretty much going to have a warm flow from the south and southwest coming up from this high pressure center. And that's going to give us a chance for a lot of humidity to come up with the heat. So we're going to have a chance of showers and thunderstorms almost every afternoon through till next Wednesday. And that might be exacerbated a little bit by this front that you see up here in Canada. That might start to swing through by the end of next week. But again, it's not really going to cool us down. And as we move ahead, I'm going to show you something else about the National Weather Service when they're putting out about our outlook for precipitation for the next 10 days or so. And look at this. This corridor of below average precipitation is pretty close to us up here. And in fact, we're really going to be seeing more of that. It really doesn't look like any substantial beneficial rain is going to be coming up for the next maybe even 10 days. So I want to let you know the drought is definitely getting much worse here in the Burlington area. And you can definitely notice that, especially if you have well water. Those wells are getting to record lows. So we really have to start hoping for a nice rainstorm. I know that it's the summertime and we don't want to hear that, but the situation's getting pretty serious at this point, really, to tell you the truth. As we move ahead, I'm going to show you that 7-day forecast coming up, and it really almost is a carbon copy each day. The only days that look like they're going to be pretty much cloud-free are going to be Thursday and Saturday, and that's going to be when we're going to see a heat wave probably building. As you can see, Thursday temperatures in the upper 80s under blazing sunshine. Then we have a chance of thunderstorms as we get into Friday when the humidity levels start to creep up. And by the time you get to Sunday and Monday, you're really going to notice the heat and the humidity. Temperatures may be as high as the mid-90s with very high humidity. And again, maybe only a slight chance of a thunderstorm each afternoon. So don't hedge your bets on that right now, especially if you have a garden or anything. Unfortunately, the gardens are looking a little peaked right now, and they really need some help. But as you can see, right through the end of the period, above normal temperatures with the chance of a shower or thunderstorm each afternoon. So get out there and enjoy all of this wonderful weather that we're having this summer, because let me tell you, you're going to be looking for this when we get to December, that's for sure. Have a great week and enjoy your weekend.
Hello and welcome to your community calendar. First up, can you not get enough of the Hogwarts gang? On Saturday, July 30th at 8 p.m., the Barnes & Noble in Burlington is hosting a Harry Potter event. There will be a special countdown to midnight party leading up to the release of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child Parts 1 and 2, a special rehearsal edition script book which goes on sale at midnight. The party will feature a special Muggle wall where customers can share their favorite memories of Harry Potter, as well as amazing giveaways and fun activities. Everyone is welcome. The event is free. For more info, visit the Barnes & Noble website at barnesandnoble.com or call 781-273-3871. Are you looking for a fun way to spend an evening with your kids? On Monday, July 25th, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Town Common, the Burlington Recreation Department will be presenting Karen Kay and the Jitterbugs. Bug out with Karen Kay and her cast of jitterbugs, including Hop, the overexcited grasshopper, Bumble, the bee who doesn't sting, Stinky, who loves to play in dirt and refuses to take a bath, and Slugbug, who needs a lot of naps. This crowd-engaging theatrical show featuring Karen Kay's tunes makes the Jitterbugs a fun performance for children of all ages. The event is free. For more info, visit the Burlington Recreation site at burlington.org or call the department at 781-270-1695. Finally, are you looking for a fun social event for your teen in a safe environment? On Friday, July 29th, from 6 to 9 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be hosting a library lock-in. Join Nicole and Jenna after hours for pizza, crafts, games, author talks, and more. Registration is required along with a signed permission slip. Register in person at the Youth Services Desk when you hand in the permission slip. For more info, visit the Burlington Public Library at burlington.org or call the library at 781-270-1690. This has been your Community Calendar. I'm Ian Cassiola. Back to you in the studio.
One place where there's always a lot happening is the Senior Center. This week we go to 10-year-old Willa Romer, niece of Council on Aging Director Marge McDonald, who filled in for her aunt for the latest senior news.
Hi, I'm Willa Romer, niece of COA Director Marge McDonald, who is out on vacation this week. Monday's movie will be Singing in the Rain, and the New Orleans Jazz Band will be playing Monday night. Some smooth jazz is a great way to stay cool on a hot summer night. We'll have Reiki meditation on Tuesday morning at 9:30, followed by Reiki sessions beginning at 10:10 a.m. Meditation is $3 and each session is $15. On Wednesday, July 27th at 1:30, Care 1 will be here with Name That Face and hot dogs and ice cream. Pre-registration is required. On the 29th, Senior Center will be closing at 11 a.m. for employee appreciation. There'll be no rides at 10:30 that morning, after 10:30 that morning. On Monday, August 1st, the movie will be A League of Their Own, starring a large cast of well-known actors including Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, and Madonna. Park Avenue in Arlington will sponsor a ice cream social presentation on the mild cognitive impairment on Tuesday, August 2nd at 10 a.m. Monday, August 9th, the movie will be Sister Act at 12:30, starring Whoopi Goldberg. The August supper will be Atria Longmeadow Place. Sign up will take place at Thursday, August 11th at 10:30 a.m. The Leahy's Farmers Market will continue on Wednesdays, and my aunt's handing out numbers about noon. Leahy's sponsored Aquafit. The YMCA does have spaces available on Thursday, 1:30 p.m. and will continue until at least next April. On Tuesday, August 23rd, there will be a free training for family caregivers with loved ones with Alzheimer's. Using the I'm Still Here approach during this 4-hour training session, caregivers will learn how to use Hearthstone time-tested methods to create strategies for successful caring and engaging their loved ones at home. The free 4-hour training will take place from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Lunch will be served, but registration is required. Call 781-270-1950 or email wecare@thehearthstone.org. The training presented by the I'm Still Here Foundation is sponsored by the Hearthstone Alzheimer's Care, Tribute Home Care, and the I'm Still Here Foundation and the Burlington Council of Aging. I'm Willa Romer from Marge McDonald, and that's all for now.
Thank you, Willa, and good job. Finally, this week, the Burlington Planning Department and Master Plan Steering Committee want to hear from residents. The town of Burlington is underway with a comprehensive plan for Burlington's future. The comprehensive plan will help to guide decisions on housing, economic development, open space protection, recreation and cultural resources now and in the future. The Planning Department has just kicked off the housing element of the plan, and they are looking for feedback from the community. They are asking residents to take an online survey on their thoughts of housing in Burlington. The master plan will be a document that establishes the overall vision for the growth and the policies by which future growth and development will be guided. This report will be utilized by the Planning Department and Board as a basis for decision-making about land use planning and redevelopment for the town of Burlington. You can find a link to the survey at www.bcattv.org/bnews. That's it from the news desk. That's it from the news desk here at B.News Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with B.News Director Rich Hosford, Robert Parrish, Chris Flaherty, James Hurley, Peter Brown, Ian Casciola, and John Vias. Thank you for joining us.